Hi, fellow traders. Man, what a day. A crazy day. We woke up to a massive gap down in the market and we just didn't know how to take it. I was like, okay, I thought we might gap down, but I didn't expect it that big. And of course, at the open, we saw the market bounce and it bounced enough to take some people out. Some people who decided they wanted to jump short out of the gate and they got caught. So it was a pretty interesting morning, and we'll talk more about that here in a minute. But what I want to share with you today, man, this is taking me back. I love this boat. I love this water. I can't wait to get back to it in a couple months. But what I say is, I'll say prepare to come about. That's one of the commands I'll give. Or you could say prepare to attack. Some people now, they say prepare to attack, they're ready to attack. I'm from the old school. I say prepare to come about. Unless the wind is at my back, then I'll say prepare to jive. But whatever the case is, when I make that command, either the wind is changing direction or I'm changing direction, and I need to catch the wind on the other side of the sail. So I'm going to swing the sail from one side to the next. And I say that so that my family could duck their heads or, not get knocked overboard when the sail swings. And in trading, now I can relate that 100% to trading, because today you could see the wind was going one way pre-market, and then at the open it shifted, and then a little bit later the wind shifted again. And it's not uncommon on a sailing trip that you have to come about or jive a couple times, and that's what we had to do. So it's okay to come about or to jive with the market, because we're not chasing it. We're letting the market tell us where the wind is and where to place our sail. When I'm sailing, we're not chasing the wind. If the wind moves, we just take a minute, read the water to figure out where the wind is, and then we'll go get it. We're not chasing it. We're not running without taking our time trying to figure out and let the Mother Nature tell us where we need to put our sail. We need to do the same thing in trading. We need to wait, let the market tell us where to put our sail. Now, I made a little error today, and we'll talk about that, because I was chasing. I didn't wait. And a lot of times when you don't wait, it can nail you. It can be pretty bad. So just remember, it's okay in the market. It's okay to come about. It's okay to jive. Just make sure that you're not chasing, that you're waiting until the market tells you this is where you need to put your sail because the wind is here, and then you do it. Here's a gap down today. Huge gap down, and almost a 10-point gap down from, or over 10, or almost a 10-point gap down from Friday. I mean, massive. And just like we normally get, as soon as the market opens, it started to recover. And we had that bounce, and it took a lot of people out. A lot of people who jumped short, they got burned, because that bounce was big enough and threw a lot of levels, a lot of moving averages, that it shook some people out. It never got over the 100 period. The 100 period right now, guys, is king. You got to respect it. It's king. Very few stocks break through the 100. The only one I know of that does it consistently is ROKU. And we're going to look at that one here in a minute. But tomorrow, today I thought this was going to test the line in the sand that we talked about yesterday. Now, if you were in the session, the market analysis session yesterday, you know what I'm talking about. If you missed it, just go to the website. It's on the swing trade page. For all you members that missed it, the recording is right there. You can't miss the icon. But I thought it was going to breach our line in the sand. And if it breaches it, I think it's going to create some panic. I was surprised that a lot of people were more composed today than I thought they were going to be. I thought the bottom was going to fall out. And I didn't trade TVIX because I need smooth sailing. I don't need choppy waters. I don't need the market to be going back and forth, trying to change trends on me. I don't need that. So I didn't trade TVIX. Now, some people got in it at the open, ended up getting stopped out, and turned around and got back in it and held it the rest of the day. You did pretty good. But I don't know if you made up for that stop out or not. You know, that would remain to be seen. But I don't like days like today to trade the volatility indexes. Now, if we breach that area tomorrow, then I'll be all over TVIX in both accounts. In Thinkorswim and in my day trading account. So I'll be looking for that. This was also crazy. Look at all of these. At 8:30 this morning, my scanner was full. And none of these were catalysts that I trade. They were gapping down with the market. And this is narrowly focused. I'm only looking for stocks less than $150 or less and less than 500 million share float. So this filtered out maybe 2/3 more that were moving and that were gapping with the market. So there was just so many out there. I mean, you didn't know which one to watch. I was liking being BYND. I was loving that huge window, but I wasn't loving the spread on it. And that ended up trading crazy today. And we picked Roku, so we'll talk about that one here. But a lot, I mean, just so many to choose from till it wasn't even funny. So ZM, this was the first trade I took. Because of the way the market was trading, I just sat on my hands and didn't trade the open. That was my decision. That I wasn't going to try it. I knew the market was going to be a little iffy, so I just kind of stayed out of it. This hit my reversal scan. Now, I probably should have been in this a little bit earlier, once we started coming. But I waited for this candle to close, and I gave up some potential profit just to kind of be sure that we were heading in the right direction. And so my target on this when I got in was here the 9 in the VWAP. That was my target. On reversal trades, that's the only time that I ever use VWAP. Other than that, I'm using the deviation bands. The actual VWAP study I don't care about. It's the deviation bands that I use. But on reversal trades, VWAP is the target to pull back the VWAP. And most of the time, it just sells right through it anyway. But that is always the ultimate target on a reversal. So I had to wait. This candle screamed back up, but it didn't make a higher high. Then the next candle sold all the way back off. But through all of this, look at what happened to the 9. It crossed the VWAP and it just took up all of the trading range. So I took some off here when we crossed the 9. And I said, hey, if we can continue to sell down. I'm just going to hang on to it. Well, the volatility came back and knocked me out at break even. And you can see the stop bounced again. And I took my eyes off of it. And that's when I kind of started looking at Roku. But look at what I missed. And you guys have seen enough of these recap videos. You know my MO. You know that I like to stay engaged in the stock. And if it sets up, you know, an hour or so later, I still have my eyes on it and I'm going to catch the move. Well, I missed it on this. Now, admittingly, I was in a mentor session. You know, I did have some sessions through lunch, and it didn't, you know, my eyes weren't on the charts like I sometimes have them at lunch. So I probably would have missed this anyway, but at least my eyes would have been on it and I would have known that I missed it versus waiting until an hour later and saying, God dog, look at the move I missed. But this is one reason why you stay in. This morning wasn't a good trend following day. Later on in the day, you were able to catch some trends. Some better than others. You know, this one, once we made a lower high, then made a lower low, even though we bounced again, we still made a lower high. We are starting to trend down. Now, when you zoom back, the overall trend, you haven't really started a downtrend yet. But in the short term, you're starting a downtrend, and there's enough room in here to make it very tradable. And so that was a really good move here that we just didn't get. All right, so my old pal Roku. Look at the opening move it made. It opened. Look at the big sell-off. It would have been hard for somebody to actually jump in this at the open. So after the open, I couldn't buy it here because we've got the 50 right there. So yeah, after the 50, you had a pretty decent move here. But it went up, rejected here at the 100, bounced, rejected again, fell through. I was looking to get in here. If this candle had made a new low relative to this candle, I would have taken it. Hook, line, and sinker. But we bounced. This one rejected. And I ended up grabbing it before it actually set up. All right, this, and the reason being, this failed. Okay, and this candle closed back above the 20. All right, so now we got another candle to open and sell off. Close below the 20. And I said it when this candle started printing. I said, if this candle doesn't make a new low relative to this candle, I'm in trouble. And it turned around and bounced. The proper thing to do is to wait until this candle breaks the low of this candle. And then I've got some better confirmation. I jumped the gun. I anticipated where I thought the win was going to be. And it wasn't crap there. All I got was fluff. So got bounced back and got rejected here. And as we pulled back, I was like, we might get it because this thing just might work its way down. It made a new low relative to this candle. And then the minute it gave me a little bit of hope, this thing ripped back up and stopped me out. And here's the rip. We closed over this, all of this resistance. This candle closed above it. This candle made a new high. It just so happened it worked out that way because I had my stop here to give this enough room to be tested. And we got stopped out. So here's me preparing to come about. We had this bounce. We made a higher high here. We pulled back, made a higher low. I'm buying over off this support. No way I'm not buying this. So we're looking for the trend to start moving up. You know, we started changing trend here from this move down. We started changing trend here. The wind shifted. I moved my sale and I caught it. We had this slow, stressful pullback here before we bounced. And this was pretty aggravating because the 200 was coming in so hard. When I first got in, my final target was up around 117.50ish, or between 117.30, 117.50. But the whole time this kept coming in, kept coming in, kept coming in. It missed my order here, but it finally got it here. I had it at I changed it to 107 or 117.05. It was 117.35. So I changed it to 117.05 since this came screaming in. It didn't hit it here, but it hit it here. And we did pull back and lose the 20, the 9 here, but the 20 held. And we did grind our way through the 200. Did not make it up high enough for me to want to take it off. They ended up having to take it off at the close. But we followed this trend. We did what we could with it. Worked it out. And ended up with a halfway decent day. This should have been another $700 day had I traded it correctly. Well, I can't say I traded it wrong. Everything I did, I did with a plan in mind. You know, I just messed up the entry here. This candle created some FOMO, and I reacted to that. But other than that, I think I did relatively well, except for, staying engaged. But when I have mentor sessions during lunchtime, that's where my focus is. And my focus shouldn't be on trading at lunch. I'm taking lunch for a reason. And a lot of times when my focus is on trading at lunch, I really don't get the disconnection that I need. When I'm doing mentor sessions, I get that disconnection because I'm working with somebody. I'm talking, I'm interacting. And it's really refreshing. All right, so that is it. That's it for me today. 269.03 could have had a really bad day. It could have had a really bad day. But we kept our head, kept our wits about us, made sure we read the market right, and had our sale in the right position. So you guys have a great night, great evening. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning. Bright and early. We'll see what we can do to bring it home tomorrow.